Hello and welcome to Access and to a world that finally has Ghost of Tsushima in it. Hooray! Pop the confetti. Okay, red leaves will do, because it's been a long wait, but one that ultimately has been worth it. This is the samurai game you've always wanted, a beautiful open world both rich in history and feathered with fantasy, a story full of memorable characters, and most importantly for this video, a combat system that is sharp, flexible and wonderfully satisfying. It's also lethal. One lapse in concentration can see your face meeting dirt and your back meeting the wrong end of a Mongol spear. So if you've just picked up your copy of the game and don't yet know your kunai from your katana, here are 7 essential Ghost of Tsushima combat tips for beginners. First up, I highly recommend maxing out both your standoff and assassination skills as soon as you can. Seriously, just get in there with the technique points, you won't regret it. Initially, you can take down one opponent in a standoff, but once fully upgraded, you can chain 3 kills together, giving you a massive boost at the start of each fight, both in terms of your odds. You'll have taken out 3 enemies before the battle has even begun. Your resolve, chaining 3 standoff kills together, will fill this nicely, more on what that means later, and also just your confidence. You can't do this and not feel like the world's biggest badass, and I've genuinely found the mental momentum gathered by slicing through 3 Mongols in glorious slow-mo can often carry you through to victory against whoever's left without you even trying. Sometimes, if there's just one enemy left, they'll run away in fear, weapon discarded, ready for you to put them out of their misery. Chain assassinations are equally as important if you're approaching a scenario stealthily. They allow you to take down 3 enemies at once, so long as they're in close proximity to one another. Again, it's a numbers game. Aside from a few story missions where he fights alongside 1 or more allies, Jin is taking on the Mongol invaders on his own. So giving yourself a 3-man head start at the beginning of each encounter is super helpful. We mentioned resolve there, and that is our second tip. Keep an eye on it and do everything you can to keep it healthy. Resolve is represented by those yellow discs above your health bar in the bottom left corner, and Jin uses it to heal by pressing down on the D-pad or to unleash special attacks that are ideal for getting you out of a tight spot. Simply put, resolve is your insurance for when things get tough. Depending on what armor or charms you have equipped, you can slowly fill your resolve with successful parries or by killing enemies, for example. Standoff executions and assassinations will give it a good boost as well. Another reason maxing out those skills early on is important. With full resolve, you can take Mongol leaders out quick as a flash. What you're seeing there is a move called Heavenly Strike you learn at the end of a mythic quest, and it's helped me out of a sticky situation more times than I can count. Or you can use your resolve to heal yourself and save Jin from certain death. So yes, keep it topped up. Third tip, stances. There are 4 in total, and each is effective against a different type of enemy. The stone stance you'll have by default and works well against swordsmen. The water stance can be used to open up enemies with shields. The wind stance will make short work of fighters with spears, and the moon stance will send brutes into orbit. So yeah, unlock these as soon as you can by observing and defeating Mongol leaders. Basically the guys in fancy armour you'll find in camps dotted throughout the world. You'll know when you've beaten one because the game gets all excited about it and goes slow motion to celebrate. You don't have to fight enemies using the stance they are weak against, but it does give you a huge advantage, with Jin able to utilise specialist attacks that make short work of enemy defences. The moon stance, for example, enables Jin to interrupt those big irritating swipe attacks that brutes do by simply kicking them in the torso, and then flowing from there into a devastating slice with the katana. Often the key to combat in Ghost of Tsushima is dispatching your foes as quickly and effortlessly as possible, so get used to switching stances on the fly by holding R2 and pressing the relevant face button. After a while it just becomes second nature, like shifting gears in a car. You won't even have to think about it. Unless you drive an automatic, of course. In that case, good luck. Tip 4. Take out ranged enemies as soon as you can. If you're surrounded by Mongols, the last thing you need is some cowardly archer constantly twanging arrows at you. Therefore, you should look to pick them off with your own arrows before taking on everyone else. If that doesn't happen, just charge them. I'm talking full-on sprint and slash. They will drop like dead apples from a tree. There's even a move you can unlock where Jin performs a brutal horizontal sweep after a run-up. That's my favourite way to get rid of them, freeing you up to concentrate on your melee opponents without distraction. Oh, and later in the game you'll encounter enemies that like to throw stun bombs at you. Same rules apply. Get them gone as soon as you can. Just watch out for them dropping any pre-lit bombs after they're dead. The swines. Number 5 is specific to stealth. Get up high. We all know how much of an unassailable advantage this is. Just ask Anakin Skywalker. And it's true in Ghost of Tsushima for a couple of reasons. One, you just get a great view of where everyone is. If you're trying to rescue prisoners without being seen, getting onto a rooftop and planning your assassination route is crucial. Happily, Ghost of Tsushima has made pretty much all the buildings fully scalable. There's always something you can clamber onto that lets you get onto a roof. Failing that, the old grappling hook could do the trick if there's a place to attach it. The second reason being up high is good is because you get to do this. And I promise you, I've been playing this game for dozens of hours now, and aerial assassinations are yet to get even slightly boring. Managed to get the jump on 3 enemies together, and, assuming you've listened to our first tip, you can chain assassinate the lot of them. The only thing cooler than this? A shoji assassination, which looks like this. Oh yes, keep standing by those doors, lads, because I am loving it. Number 6, don't let your pride be the reason you lose a fight. I've had this happen to me a couple of times, like I've had things I could have done to make the fight easier, but I've let honour weigh me down and ended up dead. For instance, if you're in trouble, there's no shame in chucking in a quick kunai or a sticky bomb or a smoke bomb with R1. That's what they're there for. Look at this guy. He is seconds away from turning me inside out with that massive axe, but he isn't taking into account how quickly I can chuck a kunai in his neck. A couple of chops later, and that's him gone. Bottom line, if you're playing honourably, that doesn't mean you need to be foolhardy. Live to fight another day. Chuck that kunai or that sticky bomb. Combat in Ghost of Tsushima has a habit of bringing you down a peg or two just when you're starting to feel invincible. Don't let it. Our final tip, be aggressive. You are the legendary samurai Jin Sakai. Enemies should be running from you, not the other way around. Parrying and dodging are important, yes, but really, the best defense is offense. So get in there. The most effective way to avoid being hit is to kill people before they hit you. Dodging and parrying should be done only when necessary. This isn't a game where you should be waiting for your enemy to strike, unless it's a standoff, obviously. Instead, you should take the initiative. Get your stance right and get in there. Shield, out of the way shield. Water stance, die. Here comes a fool with a spear. Wind stance, bye-bye spear fool. A swordsman with 2 swords. 2 swords and now no torso. In battle, imagine you are a body of water and someone's just broken the dam. Drown your enemies in steel. Don't let them get a breath. Jin is a force of nature with that katana. All you need to do is point him in the right direction. Then, when it's over, sheathe your katana. A little bow, and on your way with a calm bit of flute. So there you are, 7 essential combat tips for beginners. Let us know if you found any of these useful. Give us a like if you're enjoying the game, and click that notification bell so you're always up to date with everything from the world of PlayStation.
PlayStation